Essay number 24. How to know when the only thing in the way of your happiness is you. Let me paint you a picture that might be uncomfortably familiar. You're lying in bed, scrolling through your phone, feeling vaguely dissatisfied with your life. But here's the thing. If someone asked you to list what's actually wrong, you'd struggle. You have a job, you have friends, you have a roof over your head, food in your fridge, probably even some money saved. By any objective measure, your life is fine, maybe even good. So why don't you feel happy? Here's the answer you don't want to hear. Because the only thing standing between you and happiness is you. Not your circumstances, not other people, not your past, you. I know that sounds harsh. I know you want me to validate your struggles, to agree that life is hard and unfair, and that your unhappiness is justified. But what if the very fact that you're looking for that validation is the first sign that you're your own worst enemy? Let's start with the most obvious sign. The only problem with your life is the way you think about it. Objectively, you have everything you could ever want or need. You're not starving. You're not in a war zone. You're not dying of an incurable disease. Your unhappiness comes from a lack of appreciation, which, by the way, is a skill you can develop. It's not some innate trait you either have or don't have. It's a practice, and you're not practicing it. The solution to most of your problems is just changing the way you think about them. That person whose opinion you're obsessing over, their judgment of you is actually a projection of how they see themselves. That opportunity you think you missed, it's only a loss if you decide it is. That mistake you made 5 years ago, it only has power over you because you keep giving it power. But changing how you think requires effort, and here's where the real problem lies. You're mentally lazy. I don't mean you're unintelligent. I mean you won't do the mental work required to be happy. You know you should be more present, but you won't practice mindfulness. You know meditation would help train your brain to focus instead of spiraling into negativity, but you'd rather go to the gym or watch Netflix or do literally anything else. You're willing to work on your body, your career, your skills, but not on the one thing that actually determines your experience of life, your mind. That's not just lazy, it's self-sabotage. Here's another sign you're in your own way. You've accomplished things you thought would make you happy, and the moment you achieve them, they stop mattering. That promotion you worked so hard for, as soon as you got it, it became just another line on your resume. That relationship you thought would complete you, once it was secure, you started taking it for granted. That goal you were sure would change everything, it changed nothing because you immediately moved the goalposts. You're treating achievements like checkboxes instead of experiences to enjoy. You're so focused on the next thing that you never actually arrive at happiness. You're always almost there, always one accomplishment away, always waiting for the thing that will finally make you feel the way you want to feel. But here's the thing about happiness. It's not automatic. You have to practice holding the emotion. We all have an upper limit for how good we'll let ourselves feel. It's like a thermostat for joy. When you exceed your setting, you unconsciously sabotage yourself to bring yourself back down to your comfort zone. You pick a fight with your partner when things are going too well. You procrastinate on the project that could change your career. You find problems where none exist because problems feel familiar and happiness feels foreign. You say you want change, but you care more about comfort. You'd rather stay moderately miserable in familiar circumstances than deal with the uncertainty of actually changing your life. The devil you know feels safer than the angel you don't, even when the devil is making you miserable. Look at who you spend time with. You consciously choose to hang out with people who aren't good for you, people who bring out your worst qualities, people who enable your bad habits, people who confirm your negative beliefs about yourself and the world. You know they're not helping you grow, maybe they're even holding you back, but you keep seeing them anyway because, why? Because it's comfortable? Because it's familiar? Because being around people who challenge you to be better feels like work? You won't let your idea of yourself evolve. You're still thinking of yourself as the person you were 5 or 10 years ago because that's how other people are comfortable seeing you. Your family wants you to be who you've always been. Your old friends resist your growth because it threatens their stagnation. And instead of disappointing them, you disappoint yourself by staying small. You choose what you think should be right rather than what actually is. You're more loyal to your ideas about how things should be than to the reality of how they are. You think people should be fair, so you're constantly shocked when they're not. You think hard work should guarantee success, so you're bitter when it doesn't. You think love should be easy, so you give up when it's hard. You won't apologize, not to others and especially not to yourself. Admitting you were wrong, admitting you didn't always do your best, admitting you hurt people or made mistakes, that requires humility. And humility requires letting go of the story that you're the victim in your own life. It's so much easier to be the wronged party than to admit you've also done wrong. Here's the big one. You haven't fully taken responsibility for your life. You're still waiting for something external to come and change how you feel. A person, an opportunity, a windfall, a sign from the universe. You're suffering loudly, hoping that if you make enough noise about how unhappy you are, someone or something will come save you. But nobody's coming. There's no rescue party. There's no magical moment where everything clicks into place. There's just you and the choices you make every single day. You've decided that happiness is reserved for people whose life circumstances are ideal. You think happiness is a reward for achievement rather than a choice you make, regardless of circumstances. You're waiting to earn happiness instead of choosing it. You're treating it like a destination instead of a way of traveling. You think happiness means feeling good all the time. It doesn't. Happiness is a higher baseline for perception. It's not the absence of negative emotions, it's the ability to process all emotions healthfully and return to contentment. Happy people still feel sad, angry, frustrated. They just don't get stuck there. You accept what you're taught even when it doesn't feel right. You're following a life script that was written by other people, your parents, your culture, your peer group, instead of writing your own. You're more trusting of conventional wisdom than your own wisdom, more loyal to dogma than to your own experience. And here's the final, most telling sign. Deep down, you know you have a good life. When you really stop and look at it objectively, you know things aren't that bad. You might even know they're actually pretty good. You know that your unhappiness is a choice, that it's just about choosing to focus on what's working instead of what's not. But you don't make that choice. Why? Maybe because being unhappy has become part of your identity. Maybe because you're afraid that if you admit you're happy, something bad will happen. Maybe because you think wanting more means you can't appreciate what you have. Maybe because everyone around you is unhappy and you don't want to stand out. Or maybe, and this is the hardest truth, maybe you're addicted to your own suffering. Maybe it feels safer to be unhappy because at least you know what to expect. Maybe you're more comfortable with problems than with peace. Maybe you've been unhappy for so long that you don't know who you'd be if you were happy. Here's what I need you to understand. Happiness is not something that happens to you. It's something you create. It's not a reward for being good enough, achieving enough, or suffering enough. It's a choice you make, over and over, moment by moment, day by day. Every sign I've just described, every way you're standing in your own way, it's all fixable. But not by changing your circumstances. Not by other people finally understanding you. Not by the universe finally giving you what you deserve. It's fixable by you deciding to fix it. By you choosing to think differently, to practice gratitude, to do the mental work, to let yourself evolve, to take responsibility, to focus on what's working. The question isn't whether you can be happy. You can. The question is whether you're willing to get out of your own way. Because right now, today, in this moment, you have everything you need to be happy. You have the ability to change your thoughts. You have the power to choose your focus. You have the capacity to appreciate what you have while working toward what you want. The only thing in the way of your happiness is you. And the beautiful, terrifying truth is that you're the only one who can move you out of the way. So what are you going to do? Keep waiting for happiness to find you. Keep blaming circumstances, other people, the universe for how you feel. Keep standing in your own way. Or are you going to step aside and let happiness in? The choice, as always, is yours. But let's be honest, you already knew that. You've always known that. The question is, when are you finally going to act on what you know? When are you going to stop being the obstacle and start being the way?